Hello, this is Liberty Mark 222. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He was having petitions for to increase school funding here, and it really hit a hot nerve with me. He's like, oh, wouldn't you like to have more funding for schools? They said, no, I don't believe in public funding of schools. I think that I was telling him that in the United States, the first 300 years of our existence, schools were funded by privately. I mean, there was like the universities, like the Midwest, they gave them like land and whatnot to help fund the different universities, like Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan, all the big Midwest schools. So, I mean, there was some funding, but it made me think also, you know, I helped homeschool my kids for about, 5 or 6 years. And they're going to university now. And I disagreed with that, but that's what they ended up doing, going to university. But I think, everybody, we've poured just so much money into schools, and it seems like we've got so little out of it. Everybody thinks that, well, if I just go to college, I'll get a good job, have a good career. But right now, at least half the people that get out of college can't even get a job. And the ones that do get jobs, about half of them don't get it in the field that they studied in, they got their degree in. And I think we need to look at education much differently. I think our education is way behind the times. It was modeled after the Prussians in the 1700s with Frederick the Great, and they were trying to make model citizens, trying to make good soldiers, people that didn't necessarily think. And in this new generation, we need education that reflects new technology of the computer, of new communication, cell phones, or not even faxes. Faxes are a thing of the past. But, all the internet stuff, texting. I mean, who knows what the next generation of communication is going to be. And I was talking to my mom and reflecting on how easy it is for kids to connect computers, use computers in ways that I don't even understand. I don't even comprehend it. But they've been, since they're my kids, they were on Paint when they were 3 years old, painting pictures on the computer. And I can't even comprehend how. I mean, computer was a big deal to us. When I was growing up, we didn't even have handheld calculators, or that was just coming into being. I remember when personal computers came up. I mean, but this next generation, they've always had cell phones. They've always had computers. They've always had. So it's totally different for them. So why are we still using the same model of education that was developed in the 50s and 60s and, way back when? They have just incredible opportunities for universities. You can get online degrees, and not only that. I mean, you can find out anything on the internet. You don't have to have a teacher show it to you. You can have like my kids were homeschooled. They have homeschool material for free. You could teach your kids at home for free, and not that that's for free. I mean, if you're staying at home, you could have been working a job or something like that. So you're foregoing a lot of that income potential there. But like we have these child labor laws that say, well, you can't work till you're, like 16 years old. Well, if you're on the computer, these kids, you could have an account on eBay, and you could trade and sell. You don't need to be 16 years old. You could be, 10 years old. You could manufacture something. Let's say you made hats or something, or you made some kind of artistic thing. You could sell that online. You don't have to be 16. So, like the child labor laws, they were designed for an era where, children were in coal mines and, dying left and right, doing really dangerous jobs. You had, I remember reading about the steel mills in Pennsylvania, where it was just such horrible conditions, so hot. People would just throw themselves into these vats of molten steel just to kill themselves because it's so horrible. You had the factories where just the conditions were just terrible, deplorable. Like Teddy Roosevelt, he was reading Upton Sinclair's book about the conditions in the factories as far as like the meat and how they made sausage, and he was like he could never eat sausage again after that. And it was like that in a lot of industries, mining and trucking, and I don't know. I mean, construction. A lot of the jobs were very dangerous, and a lot of people got hurt and killed. But the jobs nowadays in the United States have become more intellectual, and I don't see why kids couldn't start having their own businesses. Like my daughter, she's got a photography business. You don't have to be, you could be 10 years old. Take pictures and sell them online. I know a guy, he would sell pictures online. There's so many creative things as far as like writing or publishing different like videos or music. The possibilities are just so unlimited. And so what I'm saying is we need to look at education way different. We got to look at this economy way different. Our economy isn't based on factories anymore. It's not based on the government. The government can't give us jobs. I mean, even if the jobs that the government do, most of them are very inefficient, are very bureaucratic, and frankly, they're almost like welfare. A lot of them are. I'm not saying all government jobs are like that, but there's a ton of jobs that if the government had to compete against a free enterprise as far as like issuing licenses or I don't know, inspections, or I don't know what all the government does. They do a lot of stuff that I don't think they should be doing, actually. But so back to education. Education, it doesn't need to be theoretical so much as it needs to be practical and tied to what kind of work you're doing. And it needs to be ongoing. It's not just, education is not from kindergarten to, like, let's say when you graduate from college. It's your whole life. Nowadays, if you don't just keep learning and keep up with your profession, you're going to be way out of date. You're going to be you can't even get in that profession anymore. I think of like the petroleum industry. Our petroleum industry, we produce the most oil and gas in the whole world now because it's so innovative. The directional drilling, the fracking, all the stuff in North Dakota. This is a different generation. The baby boomers have been in control of the United States for a long time. But pretty soon the millennials, they're starting to rise up, and there's even more millennials than there are baby boomers. So this country is going to change very rapidly. As the baby boomers are dying and retiring, we're going to be a much different kind of country. And in some ways, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very hopeful, but in other ways, I'm pretty fearful. I'm thinking, my gosh, our government has so much debt. We haven't dealt with this whole thing about as far as trade with China and Japan. We haven't dealt with deindustrialization. So anyway, this is Liberty Mark 222. Thanks.